In this episode, we're going to talk about the art of saying no. I know it's not very glamorous, but trust me, it's an important skill for taking care of ourselves. First, we need to talk about why boundaries are so important. You can think of boundaries as the walls and fences around your house. They keep you safe and let you control who comes in and goes out. Similarly, when you set boundaries, you protect your physical, emotional, and mental health. Let us take a moment to acknowledge that most of us were not taught how to set boundaries growing up. In fact, many of us were even punished for asserting ourselves. You see, when you say no to someone, it can be seen as confrontational. And if we don't know how to handle that confrontation, we might feel uncomfortable or even scared. This is why so many of us struggle with setting boundaries. We fear being alone or rejected or labeled as selfish. But here's the thing. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It means you care about yourself and your well-being. When you say yes to everything, you're essentially saying that other people's needs and wants are more important than your own. And while that might make you feel good momentarily in the long run, you're doing yourself a disservice. Think about it this way. If you wouldn't get into a car with a stranger, why would you get into an emotional or physical situation with them? Setting boundaries helps you maintain your dignity and respect. When you refuse to participate in gossip or harmful activities, you're showing others that you value yourself and expect them to treat you with respect. When you turn down a date or an invitation, you're showing others that you won't tolerate being taken advantage of. I want to share a personal story with you. When I first started working, I was eager to please everyone and make them happy. I would say yes to every project and put my hand up for every extra task. But eventually I burned out. I was exhausted, resentful, and felt like I had no time for myself. That's when I started to learn the importance of boundaries. I began turning down projects that I didn't want to work on and focusing on the tasks that were important to me. It was uncomfortable at first, but over time I became more assertive and confident in my abilities. Now, I have a better work-life balance, and I'm much happier with my career. Setting boundaries isn't just about saying no, it's also about saying yes to yourself and your own needs. It's about prioritizing your own well-being and making sure that you take the time to do things that are important to you. For example, setting boundaries around your time and energy is crucial for avoiding burnout. If you're constantly available, you'll never have time to recharge and take care of yourself. Setting boundaries around your emotions is equally important. If you're constantly giving out emotional support without setting boundaries, you may end up feeling drained and resentful. It's true that saying no can be difficult, especially if you're a people pleaser, but with practice, it can become easier. You may have heard the phrase, "You only live once." Well, I challenge you to think about that. You only live once. How much of your life do you want to spend saying yes to everyone else and their demands? How much of your precious time will you waste trying to make everyone happy? The truth is, when you say yes to others, you're actually saying no to yourself and your own happiness. You're sacrificing your own needs and desires for those of others, because you fear rejection or conflict. But here's the thing. By doing so, you're not only harming yourself, but also the people around you. Imagine a scenario where you agree to help a friend move. You say yes because you don't want to let them down, but deep down you're dreading it. On the day of the move, you find yourself exhausted and overwhelmed. You start resenting your friend for putting you in this position. As the day drags on, your mood becomes increasingly negative. Finally, it's over, and you go home feeling drained and resentful. Your friend, on the other hand, is full of gratitude and thanks for your help. But their appreciation means nothing to you. You feel used and taken advantage of. This experience leaves a strain on your friendship, and you start to resent your friend. Why did you agree to help them? Because you didn't want to say no. On the contrary, imagine the same scenario playing out, but this time you say no to your friend. You refuse to help them move because you have prior commitments and you simply can't make it. Your friend is initially disappointed, but they understand and respect your decision. They find other ways to get help and eventually move into their new place. You maintain your boundaries and honor your commitments. Your friend still appreciates you for being honest and upfront with them. This time the experience leaves your friendship intact, and you both move on with your lives, respecting each other's boundaries. When you say no, you free yourself from the burden of other people's expectations. You stop wasting your time and energy on things that don't matter to you. Instead, you can focus on what's important to you and invest your time and energy into achieving your goals. You may think that saying no will push people away, but the opposite is true. When you're honest and respectful about your boundaries, people will appreciate your authenticity. They'll see that you're not afraid to stand up for yourself and that you value your own needs and desires. This will make them respect you more and want to be around you. You may also worry that saying no will make you seem selfish, but that's not true either. When you set boundaries and say no to things that don't align with your values or priorities, you're not harming anyone but yourself. You're simply prioritizing your own needs and well-being. This doesn't make you selfish. It makes you human. It shows that you have needs and desires and that you're not willing to compromise on them. So how do you actually say no in a way that's firm but respectful? Here are some tips. Start by acknowledging the request. This shows that you've heard and understood what the other person is asking. Then explain your reasons for refusing in a clear and concise way. You don't have to go into great detail, but you should provide enough information for the other person to understand your perspective. For example, I appreciate you asking me to help you move, but I have a prior commitment that I can't reschedule. Be assertive and confident in your refusal. Don't apologize or make excuses. Simply state your decision and move on. Avoid being overly apologetic or defensive. It's okay to say no without feeling guilty. Remember, you're not obligated to explain yourself to anyone. Be prepared for pushback. Some people may try to guilt trip you or pressure you into saying yes. Stay firm and reiterate your refusal. Don't be afraid to walk away from a conversation if it becomes heated or uncomfortable. Be consistent with your boundaries. Don't give in to pressure or manipulation. Stand firm in your refusal and don't let anyone make you feel guilty for taking care of yourself. It's also important to note that setting boundaries isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process that requires practice and patience. It's normal to feel awkward or uncomfortable at first, but over time it will become easier. Remember, you deserve to be respected and valued. When you set boundaries and say no to others, you're showing them that you care about yourself and that you and tolerate being treated less than you're worth. If you liked this episode, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Thank you for watching.